Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this video. I just want to take about 3 minutes of your time. I know it's precious time, but I believe you're under quarantine, so you got lots of it. I want to take this time to talk about something I'm super passionate about, and that is the New Testament. Yep, the New Testament. In the Bible? Yes. The one in the Bible? Yep. The one Christians read? Yes. I'm going to talk about Christian stuff. But it's something super important to me, and it's something that might change your life forever. The New Testament, just to give you a brief description, the New Testament is the second part of the Holy Scriptures. The first part being the Old Testament, full of fantastic and awesome history of the creation of the world by God's hands, mankind, the fall of mankind, unfortunately, kings, prophets, wars, nations, super cool stuff, especially the part where Moses intervenes on the slavery of the Hebrew people in Egypt. Yeah, God shows his wonders and powers through all of it. But let's skip forward many thousands of years, and we read about the coming of Christ himself in 4 books. That is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. 4 different perspectives on one same story, the story of Jesus Christ. One of these, Luke, he was a physician. Yep, even doctors back then, they believed in Jesus Christ, and they still do now. We then, after these 4 amazing gospels that tell the story of Jesus and his sacrifice, his ministry, then his sacrifice on the cross, his death, but then his great resurrection. After that, we get the book of Acts, which is another historical reference that tells us the story of the rising of the first church. We then go into learn about different churches across Asia Minor and the Mediterranean, and about one Paul who writes to them to give them orientation, to give them just guidelines, not rules, but just an orientation on what it is to be a Christian and to be a Christ follower and to be an ambassador of the kingdom of God here on earth. We also see that he pours out his heart into the pastoral epistles. Epistles, or letters, that's what that means, to young men that were chosen to pastor churches in the Mediterranean. Young men like myself. I would love to believe that they were just passionate young men that not necessarily knew what they were doing at the time, but that Paul poured out his heart so that he could orient them and train them to be great leaders and to show God's love to humanity, because that's what we're called to do. Jesus placed his church on earth and called for us to not do anything other than show his love, show his grace, and show his mercy between us brothers and sisters and humankind. But the crazy part is that it ends with the letter of the book of Revelation. Yeah, that's a book not a lot of people understand how to read, and honestly, don't read it if you're trying to get a good night's rest. But with that aside, the book of Revelation closes the whole section in announcing that Jesus Christ is King, and that he is King forever. And that no matter what happens around us, even this COVID-19 stuff, no matter what happens, Jesus is Lord and Jesus is King, and he is coming for us to take us into a new heaven, to take us into a new reality, to take us into eternity, to live at his side. So, with that being said, I want to invite you to take some time today or tomorrow or whenever. But take some time, read the New Testament, because I know it's the most eternal decision that you'll make. All right? Thanks.